What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So today, you guys, I'm at the cabin and my husband went to go get breakfast and then we're going to go on a hike. But I wanted to share a case that I found with you guys over the weekend. And this is like the saddest thing I think I've found so far. Almost. Maybe I have a couple other things that are pretty sad. But before we get into this video, if you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell. That way you will be made aware when I go live. If you're new here, I go live every Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I sprinkle videos throughout the week. So this is a new series on my channel. We're calling it Addicted to Crime. I was even thinking about it, calling it Crime Addicts. But what it is it's a series where I talk about crimes that have been committed by people that were under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So, yeah. This one really hits home for me because this could have been me, you guys. Any of us that were on drugs when we had our kids, anybody that struggled during their pregnancy or afterward, this could have been any one of us, you know? So, December 19th of 2019, a little girl that was 2 months old, her name was Navaeh Hope Rans, was pronounced dead at the hospital. Okay? There was a 911 call from her mother, and the mother called and said that the baby was unresponsive. So when the first responders got there, the mother's name was Ashley Rans out of Indiana. When the first responders got there, she told them that she had laid down with her baby to breastfeed her and had fell asleep and rolled over on the baby. So the first responders were noticing that the story that she was giving them wasn't lining up with what the trauma the baby was going through, what was happening with the baby, 2 months old. So, of course, they put the little baby in the ambulance, took her straight to the hospital, and she was later pronounced dead. Well, in order to find out what really happened to the baby, they did an autopsy. And that's when they figured out that the baby had died from methamphetamine intoxication. So this sends, the first responders, detectives, everybody is on high alert. They're going back out to Ashley Rand's house because they got to find out how this little baby got methamphetamine in her system. So they go out there, and Ashley is still trying to go with the story that she rolled over on the baby. And that's when they make her aware that they found methamphetamine in the baby's system. That's when Ashley goes on to admit that she did some methamphetamine 2 days prior in a bathroom at a gas station, and that she was breastfeeding her baby. So in January 2020, they went to Ashley's house and they arrested her, and she is being held for endangering a minor, neglect of a dependent. She is being charged with her baby dying from acute methamphetamine intoxication. Now, the little baby's name was Navaeh Hope Rans. Rest in peace to little baby Navaeh, 2 months old. Okay? This is out of Indiana. Again, the woman's name was Ashley Rans. Her and her boyfriend both said that all they did was smoke weed. But obviously, what's done in the dark will come out in the light. And they ended up figuring out that they struggle with other drugs also. Now, what I want to do, and this is what makes this series different than other series, is hold on, my dog's crying. I want to say hi, Paco. Paco dog, Paco dog. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to kind of talk to you guys about how this case makes me feel, and how, when I think about it, I am so blessed that, that didn't happen to me. So let me explain. When I was in my active addiction, you guys, I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my son, and the way that I justified and rationalized my addiction was, as long as I wasn't doing opiates and Xanax, that everything would be okay. So throughout my whole pregnancy, I was an IV methamphetamine addict. I went into labor because I was high on methamphetamine, and I had been up all night long. When I gave birth to my son, he was so perfect. I'm so grateful, because I know that it's not because I was a good mom. It was because God put his hand of protection over my baby. It's not because I was doing anything that I was supposed to be doing. After having my son, I went home and I tried my hardest to stay sober. I stayed sober for about 3 months, white knuckling it. July, August, September, October-ish. I was breastfeeding my son. Okay? I relapsed in November or October or November, right before my husband had relapsed. And I stopped breastfeeding my son, because one of the things that I knew is that everything from my breast milk would go into my son's system. So I automatically put my son back on formula. And of course, my mother-in-law was like, why are you putting him on formula? Why aren't you breastfeeding? You need to breastfeed him. That's how he's going to get strong. Everybody was giving me a hard time about not breastfeeding. But little did they know, the reason I wasn't breastfeeding was because I was getting high. And I was at least in my right mind enough to know that I needed to not breastfeed my son. If I hadn't had those 3 months sober, I wouldn't have known that. And I would have probably been in the same situation Ashley Rans is in right now. Sitting in jail, being held because I basically killed my own baby. The disease of addiction doesn't care whether you're a mom, whether you're a dad, a sister, a brother, a wife, a husband. It doesn't care. It's not going to stop because you have children. It's not going to stop because you have responsibilities. We have to get help. We have to stop the cycle. We have to break it. And the way to break the cycle in addiction is to reach out for help. I just want you guys to know that this is a story that it could have been avoided if Ashley and her boyfriend had reached out for help. There's no reason to be ashamed. There's no reason to be afraid. If someone you know is struggling with addiction and they're pregnant or they have children, please, please definitely encourage them to reach out for help. They can call me anytime, day or night, at 501-991-5149. And it doesn't matter if you have kids, y'all. Anybody can call me. But if you have kids, especially call me, because I know I've been there and I understand, and I'm not going to judge you. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is they're afraid of being judged, But sometimes we have to put that aside and just man up and do what we got to do to get our lives back, so that way we can provide healthy lives for our children. And I'm so grateful, you guys. I'm so grateful that Child Protective Services came and took my son, because I finally was able to reach out, get the help that I needed, and make a change. Anybody can do this. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So I just wanted to share that story with you guys. Rest in peace, Navaeh Hope Rans, 2 months old, out of Indiana. And I hope that Ashley Rans learns her lesson, because this all could have been avoided. Like I said before, if you're struggling with addiction, just reach out for help. You can call me on the Real Talk Recovery phone line, or you can reach me on Instagram at Real Talk Recovery, same as the YouTube channel. I love you guys. I hope you have a really, really, really good weekend. To all my patrons, I'll see you guys Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our patron-only live chat. And if any of you guys want to join Patreon, I'll link it down below in the comments. Y'all be good. Have a good day. Love y'all.